What's a skill you've learned that has improved your daily life? Saying no to people. Don't feel bad about saying no. It's better than saying yes when you're not comfortable with doing something, and you don't make excuses on why you can't do something. This is pretty huge. Many cultures have an aversion to disappointing anyone. If we ever say no to something, we feel like we need to justify it 12 different ways. If you simply say I don't want you, all jerk. It's also a great skill to learn how to accept a no from someone else. Learning to orient myself with north, south, east, west. I used to have the worst sense of direction and got lost all the time. Learning to pay attention to the directions has helped so much. Even if I do get lost, it's much easier to figure out how to get back on track if I know the general direction I need to go. I live within view of the mountains. Mountains equals west. If I can't see them, I have no dang idea. I've learned how to manage my time. I used to consistently run late, anywhere from 5-15 minutes, until I realized that racing around and still being late made me feel stressed and anxious. Never mind the fact that being late all the time is disrespectful as frick to everyone who has the decency to show up on time. I spent some time really exploring how much time it takes to complete basic tasks. I started to pay attention to how much time it actually takes to get from point A to point B. I made it a priority to be early, and then gradually fine-tuned the process until I was dialed in to arrive on time without being super early. I stopped making excuses for why I was late, and pretty soon I didn't have a reason to make excuses. Now I can be on autopilot and still be where I need to be, with all of my tasks completed, with about 5 minutes to spare. Being on time is a habit, just like being late is. It's a much less stressful and more pleasant habit to have though. Letting people finish their sentences before I start mine. Conversations flow like gravy. Problem with that is some people don't allow for any gaps in the conversation at all. Sometimes I have something to say, and the only way for me to say it while it's still relevant is to interrupt. Clean as you go. It's such a tiny, simple thing but is such a huge departure from how most people live their lives. It's tough to get into. People always comment now that I'm super clean and tidy, just because I wipe up a few drips of coffee that spill from my cup as soon as it happens. But it is so much nicer and comfortable living in a clean place, where you basically just put things away when you're done with them, instead of letting grime and clutter build up for a week or two and cleaning it all at once. I wish my roommates would learn this, especially when they cook. At some point during the cooking process you're just waiting for crap to cook. So clean the pans you're not using anymore and put away the ingredients you've used. Or just leave it out for a month and wait for me to finally wash all your crap for you. Thanks a fricking lot, Ashley. Think twice before speaking. Think once before speaking would already be beneficial for many people. Delayed gratification. I don't rush to buy the new hot thing, and after I sleep on it I usually realize I have a decent slightly used thing already. Or, I realize it makes sense to get the new thing. But taking the emotional rush of impulse buying off the table has been tremendously good for my financial well-being. I think delayed gratification also helps in not feeling entitled. Waiting isn't inherently bad. It isn't an injustice. It's just waiting. We all do it. Wait your turn. I too like edging. Cooking. Nothing fancy, but I can make a healthy meal from scratch without fuss. Same. And even making fancy dishes like a good roast is actually easier than people think. I've learned to forgive myself. Kicking myself over past failures won't change what happened. It will just leave me sore from being kicked so much. So I've given up all hope for a better past. I own who I've been so it doesn't own me. Quieting my mind. Keeping my mouth shut, and paying careful attention to what is going on around me and what other people are saying to each other and to me. So can you please place an order? Your tranquility is infuriating the rest of the line. Developing emotional intelligence. Not sure if this is a skill, but I assume it's something that can be learned. There's something to be said about recognizing other people's emotions. It can really improve your friendships, relationships, interactions with others if you become good at recognizing how others feel. How to make pivot tables in Excel and Google Forms. How did I live before Google Forms? They're a game changer. Cooking, for the reasons other people have stated, but also, most recently, controlled breathing. Don't get me wrong, I still suck at meditation in the classic sense, and I'm not much of one for things, well, metaphysical or mystical, but when I can't get to sleep because I'm worrying or thinking about other things, it helps. Focusing on inhaling, holding a breath, and exhaling to a measured count, and keeping your count, demands concentration, but isn't interesting enough that you won't fall asleep, especially since it encourages you to push other thoughts away. It also can lower your heart rate and blood pressure. Scripting. Knowing how to do stuff in programming languages like Python, Ruby or Bash in a quick and dirty way can save you a lot of time, no matter whether you work in IT or not. For example, if you need to compose bulk mail or do a task over and over, you can do it right away without searching the button in whichever program you are using. This is also helpful if you want to perform an algorithm on a spreadsheet on multiple computers with different spreadsheet applications. Writing your own script will save you time. Also, programming is way more fun than sitting in front of a spreadsheet all day. This may sound simple or silly, but to stop and take moments to just take in life from time to time. I'm like many people where it can seem you're in a constant cycle of running from one thing to the next with no end in sight, which can just compound stress. Just taking a minute to stop and breathe can do wonders. Kinda reminds me of Ferris Bueller's If You Don't Stop and Look Around Once in a While. May seem kinda cheesy I suppose, but I've been doing it recently and I feel like it's improved my well-being. This is so important. Gratitude can really get you through anything. Or, if you don't like what you see, you get to make decisions to change that. What a wonderful choice. Learning how to work on your vehicles. I was not mechanically inclined at all a few years ago, but using YouTube and enthusiast forums I am now comfortable doing about anything on my two vehicles if I need to. This can save you a lot of money and takes a lot of the mystery out of cars. I'm extremely good at saving up for a rainy day. This is a skill that I've trained for years. It means you need to look forward and don't look back. It means you must avoid temptations and know that your rewards will be 2-3 times the size of the people who reward themselves before they work for it. I've learned to poop in public restrooms. My intestines have never been happier. The public has never been sadder. Dude, as dumb as this sounds, that is actually a good skill to have. I remember the days when I would sit in university not being able to pay attention to anything because my stomach was acting up. Now all I do is go take a crap and get that crap off my mind. I'm not sure if this is a skill, but since I started lifting weights the last couple years, it has made life much easier. It is so nice to just be stronger and more fit. It makes simple tasks so much easier throughout the day. Taking out the trash, mowing the lawn, even running around with my dog. It makes life so much more enjoyable. Left-handed mouse as a right-handed person, more efficient at work, home, etc. I fixed this issue by being left-handed. Waking up early. Turning my brain off. When I lie down to go to sleep at night, my mind doesn't race. I fall asleep within a couple minutes every night. Getting a good night's sleep does wonders in pretty much every aspect of life. You so got to tell me this magical secret. To only worry about the things in life that I can influence. Everything else is just undue stress, and nobody needs that. Learning and loving how to be single. Some people torture themselves over lost or lack of love. Some obsess over finding it or losing it, and mostly fail to remember happiness comes from inside first, then to others. That crap will eat you alive. Letting go. Finishing up my finals for my first year of law school, and there is just so much panic among some of my classmates. You've finished the finals, they're done and it's out of your hands. You've done what you can and what happens next is out of your hands. Go get drunk. Similarly, problems at work or at home, have you done the best that you can? If so, everything will work out. Maybe not the way you want it to, but in the end what happens happens and there isn't much that can be done about it. Nothing is irreparable, but throwing everything you have at a problem that isn't ready to be solved isn't going to help anyone. Appearing to be intently busy at work, whilst plinking around on text-based subreddits. It is not just monitor positioning. Oh no. Keep theming off so pages stay clean, and be ninja with the Ctrl+ tab to quickly switch tab. Also minimize the browser to fit the preview pane in Outlook. and get the IT guy on side by submitting tickets through the appropriate channel, even though I sit one desk away, instead of bugging him on his lunch break or when he walks by like everyone else does. I have a foot switch wired to Alt plus Tab. It's perfect. Ambidexterity. I'd give my right arm to be ambidextrous. I've learned how to actually shop for clothes, instead of picking the cheap crap, or the whitey comment t-shirt, and now because of it, I'm generally being treated better by colleagues, and it's honestly improved my mood confidence. Keyboarding. Best elective I took in high school. Patience. I can be much calmer and am just a better person to be around. Portion control. Not taking seconds and stopping when I'm full. Identifying and analyzing potentially dangerous or critical situations before they arise, including making simple plans for when something goes wrong and taking preventive measures. Example 1. Get a smoke alarm before you die in a fire. Example 2. Always know the location of central water valve and fuse box. Example 3. Actually read the safety instructions of appliances and tools and then actually adhere to them. Example 4. Buy a plunger before you need a plunger. English. I hated the class in school, but when I started getting into online games I noticed that there are way more people to communicate and have fun with if you have English at your disposal. Then I got into programming and it turned out that most information I could find in my native language was just badly translated from English, usually with lots of errors or context missing, some of it even without crediting the source. As time went by, all of my entertainment, learning and finally social life shifted away from my native language. Now I have way more choice in what to read, what to learn, who to hang out and have fun with, and it immensely improved my quality of life. No matter what you do or like, with English you can join a way bigger community of people who enjoy the same thing as you, and the benefits of that are hard to compare to anything else. I feel like my country's borders were my horizon, but now it doesn't matter where I go, I'll get around, I'll be able to understand and enjoy. Mental arithmetic via estimation. That was not how I learned it in school. To not ask my partner what she wants for dinner. It's either whatever the frick I am cooking, or have just ordered, or whatever she has bothered to make. The less we discuss it, the more my life improves. Growing a vegetable garden. It's good exercise, and supplies all sorts of fresh produce during the summer, even pumpkins in the fall. Herb garden for me because I don't have much room. I love it. Everything tastes better with fresh herbs. Waking up. That extra 15 minutes you get after hitting the snooze button is empty time. You get no actual rest benefit. In fact, it makes you more tired. Don't hit snooze. Find something that can be your reward in the morning. Coffee, a workout, a healthy shake, whatever it is, make it routine. Get out of bed and get moving. Interpersonal skills. Just practicing patience and empathy with folks does wonders. I may not be the smartest man, but I can aim to be the most pleasant. It's upfront work and effort in learning how to be more appreciative and retentive, but it pays dividends down the road and becomes second nature. To laugh at almost every form of inconvenience before getting mad has prevented a bunch of infuriating mornings due to lots of little things going wrong. A dude on YouTube who takes lots of psychoactive drugs talks a lot about meditation and thoughts. He explains that each individual thought doesn't define who we are, and it is up to us to decide which thoughts we want to latch onto and give meaning to. Explains that when we are sad we are just at a low, and we mustn't worry or latch onto any of these negative thoughts because they aren't nice. We should just ride out our sadness until we have a happy thought again. Then we can choose to hold on to and give meaning to that happy thought. As an observer of my thoughts, I have learned how to be happy more often and how to deal with my sadness. I can choose to be happy instead of being sad. I am happy more often. The world is a lovely place if you give it a chance. Forgiveness, tolerance, patience, and putting my ego aside. I know that's 4 things, but frick you. I ain't got time for this crap. Don't think I won't forget this. Social intelligence interaction definitely. Instead of spending 15 minutes looking for something at a store, I immediately just ask, and if there is time, make small chit chat and happily go on my way. Being confident in your ability to talk to people can make life 10,000 times more difficult than it has to be. Listening when my soul speaks, rather than waiting. Realizing that the video games I play are just games. I used to take League of Legends pretty seriously and would get frustrated quickly if someone was screwing up, or if I was screwing up I wouldn't handle the people raging at me very well. It would ruin my whole day and I would be the person just spending the rest of the game typing at them because I was so flustered. People would say just mute them, but that's pretty hard to live by. I played it for a few years, 4 hours daily, and took a break for a few weeks, and when I came back just none of that mattered anymore. That break made me realize that it's just a freaking game and I'm just playing it for fun. If you want to tell me I should go kill myself because I made a dumb decision in game, that's fine. But I'm probably going to tell you that I fricked your mother, because I don't give a crap and it's a game. It makes playing video games much more pleasant now that there is no stress and I can just have fun. This is what made me quit WoW. I realized I was just grinding, not playing a game. The worst part was also realizing that I actually did have a lot of fun back in vanilla, but the things I had fun with were slowly being removed from the game. Languages. Being bilingual is a huge advantage, especially in my Spanish-speaking country. I'm working on Swedish now. Also drawing. I'm not a proper artist, just spent my teens drawing Sailor Moon until my hands bled, but by now I have a decent enough style that I've gotten commissions here and there, and that is extremely helpful in my country's crap economy. Minimum wage around here is $15, so being paid $20 for a drawing is huge for me, lol. Learning to sleep whenever I need. I picked it up as a skill after years of problems when I was about 10 years old. Now I can easily adjust after long flights, power nap when required, and basically just go to sleep at the right time so that I have the correct amount of sleep for the next day. I suppose the techniques I use could be considered meditative. Sort of. The first technique is to get comfortable and close your eyes. Imagine a basic shape in a black, empty void, such as a cube or toroid. Start adding bits onto the shape, morph it, etc. Imagine yourself moving across the shape and figure out the path you must take to get between points, or just explore the shape logically based on what you remember of it. After 10 minutes of this, I have usually fallen asleep. I find this technique most useful if I'm stressed, depressed, etc., as it provides a lot of distraction to forget about things. The second technique is one I use when I have a lot of real-world problems distracting me. Money, relationships, work, etc. I build a sort of black void space within to categorize the problems, with a lit candle in the center surrounded by the cloud of problems. I analyze each of them one by one, making a cursory plan for how to deal with them to help finalize my thoughts on the issue. And then I do my best to shut down my brain in regards to each thing. A bit like going round the house turning off all the lights before bed. Once everything is ready, I blow out the candle and usually fall asleep in the void. I only need to use them on days that I am having or predict I will have trouble sleeping. Most of the time I just go to sleep like normal. They're both very visual spatial techniques, so they may only work for people with highly visual brains. People who think more audibly or kinesthetically may find them useless or too challenging and prefer something very different to go to sleep. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.